Jesus answers a tricky question about divorce. In Mark chapter 10, verses 2 to 16. Why did the Pharisees ask Jesus the question on divorce? The Pharisees came to test Jesus and ask him, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? But why choose the topic of divorce? Here, it's important to focus on the location, the borders of Judea beyond Jordan. Now, the location is the territory of Herod Antipas. Herod Antipas divorced his wife to get married to Herodias, the wife of his brother Philip. John the Baptist criticized their marriage, which led to his beheading in Mark chapter 6 verses 18 to 29. Now, the Pharisees knew that Jesus could be getting into trouble by condemning divorce, and hence Herod Antipas and Herodias might kill Jesus. The motive of the Pharisees was to get rid of the troublesome presence of Jesus. But Mark has told us that Antipas is aware of Jesus and he believes that Jesus is John the Baptist raised from the dead. What is the difference between God's testing and the Pharisees seeking to test Jesus? The word used is more like tempting Jesus, like Satan tempting Jesus in the wilderness. But God also tests people in the Bible. The difference is that God hopes that the person will pass the test. In contrast, the Pharisees were hoping that Jesus would fail the test and eventually get killed by Herod Antipas. The Pharisees led a series of conflicts or attacks against Jesus' practices and his disciples. But Jesus also warned his disciples about Pharisees and Herod. Now, what is the tricky question? The Pharisees asked Jesus, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? But Jesus replied with another question. What did Moses command? The Pharisees are quick to respond. Moses allowed a certificate of divorce to be written and to divorce her. Understand the context. The Pharisees hope that Jesus takes one side of the controversy about divorce. There are two groups. The Shammai school said that a man could divorce if his wife has committed adultery. But the Hillel school says a man can divorce his wife for any fault he might find in her. Divorce for even tribal reasons. Only men were allowed to divorce their wives, not vice versa. In Jesus' time, women were treated as husband's property and had few legal rights. The consequences for a divorced woman was devastating. Which passage the Pharisees misquote from the Bible? The Pharisees are quoting Deuteronomy chapter 24 verses 1 to 4. Now the passage does not grant a man permission to divorce his wife, but it describes a situation that the man already is into. The emphasis of the text is to prohibit the husband from remarrying his ex-wife, who has already married another man. Now, why Jesus' response stunned the Pharisees? Jesus does not declare the passage invalid. Jesus said, for your hardness of heart, Moses wrote you this commandment. Even if Torah permits something, that doesn't imply that God approves of it. The hardness of heart is the heart of this debate. Now, Jesus moves the discussion from Deuteronomy to Genesis, from Moses to God, from divorce to marriage, from what is permitted to what is intended. Now, Jesus says, but from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. Jesus expresses God's original intention of men and women becoming one flesh. And therefore, Jesus concludes, what therefore God had joined together, let no man separate. No one is authorized to disrupt what God or a godly union. The hardness of heart is still a fact of life. Just as in Jesus' days, it continues to be one issue for us today. Why did Jesus' response shock his disciples? But the disciples are worried about Jesus' policy on divorce that is going against the prevailing culture. It has implications even for the disciples, because Jesus said, whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. It was a shocking statement in a patriarchal culture that did not acknowledge adultery as an offense against women. Even the law did not permit wives to divorce their husband. But Herodias divorced her husband to marry Herod Antipas. It indicated that in exceptional situations, certain women were allowed to divorce their husbands. What is the connection between divorced women and little children? People are bringing little children to Jesus, and the disciples rebuked those who brought these children to Jesus. Children, like women, had little status in society. Jesus favored those who had less status or those who were considered to belong to the lower margins of the society. People brought children to Jesus hoping that good things would happen to those Jesus blessed. The hope that a great man would bring blessing to their children. Earlier, Jesus had said, whoever receives one such little child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me does not receive me, but him who sent me. Mark chapter 9 verses 37. But the disciples did not understand the logic behind it. And now Jesus affirms it by saying, most certainly I tell you, whoever will not receive the kingdom of God like little child, he will in no way enter into it. Mark chapter 9, that's what chapter 19 verses 14 to 15. Just like the wives were dependent on their husbands, a child is dependent with empty hands and trusting hearts to receive the kingdom of God. The quality of total dependence is needed to receive the kingdom of God. Thank you for staying with me and watching the entire video. I appreciate you giving a like for this video. Tell the algorithm that this is a type of videos that I want to see on the this platform. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Press the notification bell that you don't miss out any of the videos that I put up here. And definitely don't forget to share this video with your friends and comment on the section below. See you in the next video. God bless you.